Hey guys, so I just wanted to reach out to the missions committee and kind of give a brief summary and recap on everything that we talked about last night. So last night was just me, Chris Phillips, Brother Gary, and Ray Ann Whitley. I know Trey had to work and Barry had some things going on, and that Lisa was sick. But we just we actually talked about a lot. We really needed to meet and touch base before the business meeting because we kind of had a lot of stuff kind of dumped in our laps that kind of needed to be addressed before the business meeting. So just real quick, a few of the things that we've been talking about that I started or last time we met last month, and that we kind of re-emphasized this week, is that we as a mission committee need to establish ourselves in terms of organizing our efforts, our thoughts, and having some type of structure in how we conduct ourselves. And so I mentioned one of trying to build this group up to get into a rhythm and a routine of meeting very periodically. So we're looking as a committee to meet once a month from here on out. Every month, we as a committee are expecting ourselves to meet and plan a date and meet, and as much as we are able to commit to sticking to that, to those meetings that we schedule. So that's one thing that we want to do as a committee. We also talked about the need and the necessity for us as a committee to create a conviction document, something that outlines what we as a committee, as Southern representatives of the church at large, believe regarding missions, what the Bible says about it, what our goals are, what our plans are, and how we just as a group want to set up guidelines and boundaries by which we conduct ourselves. Who do we partner with? How long do we partner with them? To what extent do we partner with different possible partners, like, missionaries or whatever the case may be? These are things that we need to get down on paper and document and hold to as rigidly as we can, as far as being able to give ourselves the opportunity to evaluate future partnerships, to evaluate whether or not we want to take on any new partnerships, or whether those are things that maybe we as a church would probably need to pass on. So we as a group are going to need to kind of start meeting regularly and take more seriously just our organization and our structure as far as how we just how we conduct ourselves in general. So that's one thing that we talked about last week. I've got some papers and documents that I handed out to those that were there. If you were not there, I'd love to. I've got some more in my office that I've copied for you. If you'd love for you to take a look at them and check that out. And next time we meet, we'll go back over some of that and begin to work on establishing some of those things. We also talked about Lottie Moon. Lottie Moon is coming up. I'm about to make a video right after this kind of explaining what Lottie Moon is, why people in the church should give to it, donate to it. We're going to set a goal. I think it's reasonable. We're going to set a goal for about $7,500 this year. I looked at what our goals have been in the past and then what we have been able to actually get. So last year I think we managed $7,600. We had a goal of $10,000, something like that. Previous years we've had as much as $5,500. Other years maybe even just like $1,500. So for this year we're going to set a goal for $7,500. I think we can reach it. I think that'll be something we can manage. So that's what we're going to do with Lottie Moon. I'll make a video kind of announcing that, and that'll be that. We'll get the Lottie Moon thing rolling, and we kind of plan to hopefully be in front of the congregation more throughout that month of December, explaining Lottie Moon and encouraging people to give and to donate to that. And of course also the postage stamp deal that Dana has already announced regarding Lottie Moon. We talked about the bus ministry / local missions prayer night on Monday the 29th from 5 to 6. We're going to have an hour of prayer where we're encouraging the whole church to come. We'll open with a hymn, we'll pray, and we'll close with a hymn. People are free to come and go as they need to, stay for the whole hour. We'd love that. And we're going to pray specifically as a body on how we can engage our community. Jared's been kind of laying out this vision of reaching 2% of Logan County with the gospel. And so really, how can our church do that? How can we spread the gospel, proclaim the gospel in our community, and build Christ's kingdom? And subsequently, we think that as we do that, if we are effective in doing that, there's going to come a very great need for a potential bus ministry. I know that's been a concern, how we're going to use those resources. So our concern for how we're going to use the bus ministry has kind of devolved into how can we as a church be effective in reaching our community, and then subsequently making use of our other resources as those needs arise. So that's what's going to be coming on Monday night. We'd love to have everybody on the mission committee there at some point that Monday night to pray and join us in that, and so on and so forth. So what else? A few more things. These are some bigger topics that we discussed. Well, first off, we talked about the Miles mission trip. We've touched base with David and Haley Miles, who are, as you may remember, formerly in China, now in South Africa, in Cape Town. We touched base with them. We've got a tentative plan possibly for sending 5 adult leaders or couples to go to South Africa on a vision trip, if you will, to get the lay of the land, to figure out what we can do, how we can partner with them, and either late June or early July, potentially, on that trip. Last week of June, first week of July, potentially. Those are tentative dates. We'll see what we can do there. But we are planning to make that trip and send at least 5 of those individuals to scout that out. And the idea is we want to be selective in who we send, because those people who are going to go will be future team leaders for all other teams that go. They're going to kind of be our tip of the spear, if you will, on our church's efforts there with the Miles in South Africa. So be thinking about that, praying about that. We're going to follow up with more information on that. And then finally, probably the biggest thing that we talked about all night was we were given from the Finance Committee a responsibility to audit our sponsorships, our missional sponsorships. So everybody that we donate to as a church that comes out of our missional budget, audit them. Are they worth keeping our partnership alive with them? Do we need to reduce? Do we need to increase what we give to them? Do we need to cut it out altogether? That's something we want to take seriously. And so we identified a few that were in need of being assessed and audited, and we made out a list of those different organizations that we give to, different individuals and mission couples, and we're going to audit them. We're gonna give them a chance to come and tell us why we should continue to support them, give to them, and then we as a committee will evaluate that and recommend whether or not to continue with them to the church, or perhaps we decide we want to increase it. Perhaps we decide we need to decrease our giving to them. Whatever the case may be, we're going to give them a chance. These are just typically organizations that we kind of give to blindly, that we don't have any real involvement with or engagement with. Frankly, some of them we haven't heard from or talked to in quite some time. So we just need to take our resources and our responsibility with them seriously and assess those, and that's something we're going to do. So we're going to actually recommend to the business committee, the business meeting here in a couple weeks, that a number of these kind of be put on hold, suspended just temporarily, and we're going to reach out and be contacting these folks and trying to evaluate and assess what we're going to do with our funding in that regards. I know that's a lot of information. There's a lot more that I could probably share and delve into. And if you have any questions, if you weren't there, if you want to give me a call, that's awesome. That's wonderful. I'd love to answer any questions and perhaps explain some of this a little more if you need some clarification. But we also need to plan our next meeting. So next month, for the month of December, we need to pick a date, and we all need to meet. Most of us there said that Wednesday nights worked really well for most of us, just because a lot of us are naturally there already on Wednesday. And we can just meet immediately after Awana and youth. So Trey, I know, has a schedule that shifts and changes, and so we'd love to try to allow everybody an opportunity to tell us a date that works for them. So love you guys, appreciate you guys, and I'm really excited to see what this committee can grow and become. And I'd love to see us take on a more prominent role in just representing the missional outreach and arm of Southern Heights Baptist Church. All right, thanks, guys.